we believe that those are some advantages that could greatly benefit you. But it also gives you the same amount of autonomy you've always had as a council person. And so we would provide the report to you. You would have a period of 10 days to review it yourself, provide feedback, provide input, provide direction if you wish. And then once we do that, you would get the report back in a finalized form before you would adopt it. And then that same team that helped you adopt it, including my team, Art and Jonathan from DCD, which will also work with you, will help to implement the plan. We would have a weekly meeting with you every week to work towards the implementation and execution. And as Jonathan mentioned, it's a much shorter time frame now. It's only 5 years. And believe it or not, your tax base is relatively healthy compared to some of the tax bases we've seen in other parts of the state. We travel 67 counties, we've seen and done it all, so to speak. But I just wanted to let you know that's some information that I thought would be valuable to you. Jonathan, did you have another? Anything that, okay, so, yes, Your Honor.
I have one question for you.
Sure.
I like to sometimes play the devil's advocate. Let's say, I'm gonna pick a subject. Let's say we needed some new police cars, right?
Okay.
Could I expand that decision to more than 7 people? I'd like to add the 7 council members, the mayor, who runs at the police department, that's 8. The borough manager is 9. And our solicitor, who has the legal expertise to know about some of these decisions. Could I include them 3 people in it and make it a 10-person decisions?
No.
Well, the other people that can formally decide.
I'm not asking for their vote, I'm just asking for their expertise.
No.
The mayor, he runs the police department. He should know about the cars. Our solicitor is the man that knows all the legal ramifications. He knows all the legal, that's why he makes the buco bucks, right? And the borough manager who runs the day-to-day operation, no matter who it is, right? I just like to get their, not,
Well, let's
just
assume you have
their opinion.
Let's assume
You know?
you have committees, and I believe you do.
Yes,
You can ask individuals to be on the committee, but you cannot have as a majority.
well, I know we have a public safety committee, but
But do you have a capital
would start
improvement?
there.
I want to include all 7 members of council,
I mean,
and I'd like to have opinion from 3 other people. Not that it means anything, but I just like to, you know, have people included in the,
I'll let your solicitor answer
Yeah,
that
Mr.
question.
President, there's various ways you can, obtain people's opinions, but
Right,
ultimately,
right.
the decision about, if your example of whether to buy a police car.
right,
Nothing under Act 47 would enable the Borough Council to, lend any of its responsibilities or powers to anybody other than the 7 elected members of council and the mayor.
I understand,
So
Mr.
ultimately,
Solicitor,
yeah,
yes,
you can
yes.
ask opinions of whomever,
Yeah.
but ultimately, it is the 7 members of council and the mayor in the event of a tie that
Right,
would
yeah.
make that decision.
Thank you, thank you.
Do I have any other questions?
yes, I'd like to say something.
Yes, Your Honor.
My thing is, I would love for everybody, that's including the councils and everybody, to come together. If we can't come together, Act 47 is not gonna matter. You know, we gotta learn how to come together as a group. If we can't come together as a group, we might as well stop now. Because it's too many arguing going on, and it's too many pointing fingers, there's too many name calls going on. Look, we out here, well, we for the people, and we for the taxpayers. You know, let's do this thing together. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, certainly Act 47 could be an impetus to try to infer and help to guide some
Yeah.
collaborative efforts and cooperative efforts, and that would certainly be our goal. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any other questions, most of you have my business card. If you don't, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to share it. Okay.
Are you going to take questions from the audience, if the audience has some questions, guys?
Certainly.
I was wanted to add one quick thing.
Go ahead.
Tonight, we would ask therefore that, based on our emergency action plan, that council to approve the emergency action plan effective immediately, with the implementation also effective immediately. So that is what we'll be asking for from Borough Council tonight at its regular schedule meeting.
Let's see if there's any questions.
And I'm open to questions.
Any questions?
Anybody else from council have questions? I'll turn it over to the audience now. If anybody from the audience would like to address. Oh, I'm sorry. Go, wait a minute, Ruthie. Hold on, Ruthie. Go ahead, Massa.
Yeah, okay.
Let me do council first.
I'm asking about the act, what you bringing on board. If we decide to take that, are you gonna work with us?
In Act 47,
Yes.
that decision is not mine. We will continue to work as EIP coordinators, but the ultimate decision on an Act 47 coordinator is done by DCED, and the department makes that selection after after receiving responses to a request for proposal competitively and interviewing coordinators.
My last question is, Act 47 coming in because they borrow own a lot of money. Huh?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Okay. If you come in, are you going to lend all the money to pay all the bills or whatsoever we own?
We
And
could.
if you lend all the money, how are we going to pay it back to you?
What could happen is, in some municipalities, they are granted an emergency loan. That emergency loan, the repayment of that loan must be included in the Act 47 plan. So as part of the overall plan, which includes your revenue and expenses and making sure that your budgets are balanced, that repayment must be included in the plan.
Tell me the terms.
Now, the terms on a emergency loan from the state are 10-year, 0% interest.
And usually you don't pay the first year.
And in the first year, you're developing a plan, so that usually you don't have any principal payment in that first year. It usually starts in year 2. But you're not gonna be 0% interest, that's for sure.
I have a question. With the revenue that they collecting from the community, with your payments, first the return payments, let's say with the revenue, like I said, they can't make your payments, where do that go from there? First if they come up short, what happens then?
On a prop, you
As
mean?
far as repayment of the loan that you're talking about?
If
Because it seems as though
the
the
borough
right, can't make your
can't
payment.
make a payment on the loan.
Right, I mean, after you, like, kind of formulate, you know, some kind of strategy as far as making these repayments, let's say the revenue they're collecting from all the taxes and everything, you
Isn't
know,
enough to support the
shortfall.
loan.
Right,
That would be, I don't know of any place where that's ever happened. It would be something that I could defer to the department on
Yeah.
what they would do in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for you to know when we make the loan, let's say it's 1.18,
right,
that loan is used to pay everything off.
right,
So now you don't have any debt.
okay,
So and when we work with you to develop the plan, we'll develop the plan so it's an affordable amount for them to repay. But your debt is all paid off.
right.
So you don't owe anything. So the only thing you're doing is now paying current bills, and you should be able to have a debt service payment over 10 years at 0%. It should easily be repaid. And we'll work with you to help formulate that mechanism.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question, because from what I'm hearing, over the last whatever amount of years, the financial oversight in this borough been like crazy. So just because you keep coming here and formulate a plan and put together strategies first day to pay the money back, then there comes the people still have to get together and they still have to condescend to some unity as far as trying to get this money paid back. But if they start going here, there, and everywhere again, I mean, it happened before, it can happen again.
Well, it's during the 5-year period, so we do have pretty good observance. Every week, we're meeting with you. Every meeting, we're making sure you're following the plan. Every week, we're making sure you're paying your bills on time. Now, what happens after the 5 to 8 years that we leave, we can't control. But these are good people. And I think when they've been put on record that there's a problem, I believe they'll address it. And we'll work with them to move that as an effort to stay current
Okay.
and to stay afloat and to represent the needs of the taxpayer and to give the taxpayer their due.
So after like you say, it's a 5-year loan, it's 5 years, you
10
said,
year
or
loan.
10 years. So after the 10 years, which in everything should come current as far as your loan should be paid
Well,
off.
it'll be current as soon as we give
Well,
you the
I don't need to
money.
borrow debt, I
Yeah,
mean, your pay.
Oh, yes, yeah, it will be paid off.
Then you guys will need anybody in place, or by then you think the program that you implemented should be,
Well, we've been in Milburn, and a similar situation exists. We went in and we corrected the situation, and now they're out on their own and they're doing marvelous. We've been in Yaden, we've been in Marcus Hook. So we have really worked with this community as a whole, and we wish to continue to work in Delaware County. We work in Chester every week, because Chester City is Act 47. So we do try to stay current, we do try to work with you, and we do try to give the taxpayers their due based on what they commit to you in the borough of Colwyn.
And I think Marita made a very important point that needs to be emphasized. We are here today because this borough council has asked for help. That's why we are here, and in our conversations with all of them, they have wanted to move this forward and get the borough fixed.
And Patricia Williams was actually the president at the time, and she led the charge, so I must commend her for her efforts in leading the charge in
I mean, I think it's a great thing because it's a sinking ship.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's been like this for years and years.
From what
Years
you
and
have
years.
seen, this is not
10, 14
something
years.
that happened in like the last 5 or 6 years. This has been around for like the last 8 to 10 years.
Not unusual.
I'm asking that, it's because it's 8 to 10 years. I know,
Well, we don't have records going
Right.
back that far, but we can tell you, we just came from Shamokin, and we can guarantee you that that problem in Shamokin's been going on for 15 years. It wasn't just the prior year, or 2 prior years, or 5 prior years.
we actually did go break, we actually did go broke in 2007. And we took a second tan, and used it that year. So we've been actually carrying a 300,000 debt since 2007. I just realized, or I was just told, we could have written it off somewhere along the line. But what happened was, in 2007, in January, when we normally get our tans, we took a $200,000 tan. But by September of 2007, the borough was completely broke. And we took another tan. But normally you're taking a tan normally you apply for a tan in 1 year and you receive it, we should have received it in January 2008. But we actually took the $300,000 tan and received it in 2007. That is one of the major debts that we have been carrying. So,
It may be so, but we don't have great evidence of that, but I believe you. And it obviously, there has been debt carried over from year to year to year. You don't get the 1,000,001 without carrying it from year to year to year.
And in addition, a lot of those costs, the pension, those are legacy issues.
Yes.
Those are things that have, those were promises that were given.
before me,
It could have been in the
Before me.
90s when those pensions were given.
before me.
Yes, sir.
And moving
Just a
forward,
minute, Fred, 'cause she had her
moving the
hand
borough forward, and you stated that you will be working directly with council weekly.
That's correct.
It-
Well, we'll have a weekly meeting and as many people as, no, we can't have a majority, right? That's the only problem. But whoever is selected on the council to meet with us, can meet weekly. Now, we can report to the council regularly. We can come to your meetings monthly and report on our weekly meeting. But we just can't have all 7 members at that meeting because of the sunshine law.
I
I didn't
understand,
write those.
okay, I understand what you just said, you can't have all 7,
Right.
but the 3, because it seems, like I said, I'm gonna think positive, okay? So, I'm going to assume when we have these meetings, that it will either be convenient for those that work
That's what we'll try to do.
and try to stay positive with all of council that is here
That's right.
and make it fair.
Exactly.
Okay.
As you have always have, Ms. Williams.
Can we have, is it possible, Marita, can we have a if you're gonna meet with like 3 members of council, can we have a rotating, like maybe 1 week me, Patricia and Jesse?
Make it
And then
different.
following week, maybe Tanette, Martha, and Freddie? Can we rotate? This way everybody's informed?
We don't have any problem with that, Solicitor.
There you go. I just wanna bring that to the table.
Yes, yeah, but we do need to keep aware of the.
And we gotta, see, my thought of thinking is to keep everybody, all 7 members of council informed.
Right.
You know, I'm not against, I'm totally against this 3 people, I wanna keep everybody informed.
Right, exactly.
That's all I have to say.
Yes.
Anybody else from council? I'll go back to the audience.
Oh, Fred had a question.
Freddie, go ahead, Fred.
Forgot all about it. Forgot your question, so if I remember it, I'll let you know.
Okay, just raise your hand, Mrs. Munson.
Yeah, I have one. The one thing, I think council needs to learn to go to class first of all, so they know what they're doing, everybody on council all the time. But the other is, I think council needs to separate themselves from administration of how the borough is run and what council's job really is. In the past years, I can't tell you how many administrators we had. And in the year 2013, I know from April on, I don't know of any person that was actually one person working inside the borough manager's office. I think that's part of what has happened to this town is too many people were turning over too fast. They were getting paid or sued, and the thing, it needs to be controlled. We need one manager or one administrator for a while so they can deal with what's going on and deal and help with youth people. If they
Well, the
keep
recovery
changing
plan
hands.
should deal with some of those issues. That's
Right.
usually what it deals with.
I think she's talking basically about stability, about stability, instead of a turnover.
The recovery plan is to
Yes.
to develop a
Okay.
foundation.
Very
and
good.
develop the stability where there might not be as sound
Right.
as.
Anyone else in the audience like to address the state? Questions, comments?
Okay, well, thank you very much. for
Thank
your
you,
time.
guys.
Always
Thank you.
available to answer your questions.
Very good.
Freddie can finish his report
Can,
and then
Go ahead, Jeanette.
can I,
Jessica.
have a moment to speak to the audience?
It's
Can I
almost
have,
7:30.
I mean, we're in committee meeting right now,
Right, we only have 6 minutes, so
but.
can you do it afterwards? Can you do it later? I'll give you the time.
Let her go ahead, Paul. Let her go ahead.
Go ahead then. Make it short and sweet, please, Jeanette. Because we gotta get this committee reports done.
She knows to stand up.
I wanted to, not bring up anything, the last